Tonight on NewsVision, an Uber driver has been arrested near campus and it was not for poor driving. We will tell you why students living off campus are worried. Plus, HP Concerts has announced this year's homecoming artist. We will reveal the artist's identity and get students' opinions of the choice.
I can't wait for it, man. I just can't wait for it. It's gonna be so fun.
And later on, the Miami Hurricanes football team is back in action this week when they take on the Virginia Tech Hokies. Our sports reporter breaks down the Canes' chances in their second ACC game of the season. NewsVision starts right now.
First tonight, a safety alert: creeper near campus. Coral Gables police arresting a man they say is an Uber driver caught looking into homes just a few hundred feet from campus. They say this happened several times over several months.
Good evening and welcome to NewsVision. I'm Grace Smith.
And I'm Tommy Fletcher. Thanks for joining us. If you live near campus, you'll want to hear this.
Tonight, police saying there may be even more victims. Let's get right to UMTV Sharon Danquah. She's live just off campus with more of that shocking surveillance video. Sharon, what happened?
Yes, that's right, Grace. Police say the offense was carried out by Yoel Hernandez. Hernandez was first caught by a neighbor's doorbell camera in March that watched him walk onto the property and peer into their back bedroom window. The video was then given to police, and investigators began to link similar instances with reports of the same activity in January and then again in August. The event happened here, close to the University of Miami, that involved two women who said they saw a man looking at them as they undressed. Residents reported a strange Uber driver's license plate, which was later linked to Hernandez's car. Both women also picked Hernandez out of a lineup before he admitted to everything. Officials here suggest that residents cover their windows and get motion detecting lights to ward off any future offenders. Reporting live from Ponce de Leon Boulevard, I'm Sharon Danquah, UMTV.
Well, the deadline for voting for your student government officers and senators is in just a few hours, but as UMTV reporter Jessie Locke found out, not many students knew voting was even happening. She's live at the Whitten University Center with more. Jessie, what are they saying?
Yeah, that's right, Tommy. Now, I spoke to many students that did not vote, and they didn't even know that there were Senate elections taking place. Now, several students said that they voted in last semester's elections, but they haven't seen any campaigning for this year's election cycles. Now, there's still time to vote today for constituencies that you're a part of. So if you're in the College of Arts and Sciences, you can vote for the Senate seat in that school, but about.
I actually didn't know there were elections. I remember last year, though, for student president elections, I voted because every time on my way to class, both teams, they were out in the hallways or like out by the patio trying to like tell people that like, hey, elections are coming up. If you want to vote, this is information about our team. But like this year, I haven't heard anything about elections, and I don't even know who's running.
One of the many reasons students might not know about elections is because 19 of the 33 seats have students running completely unopposed, while 4 positions have no students running at all. That leaves only 10 races to vote in. Now, of the people who have voted, the most popular race by far was that for Pearson Residential College. That's because Randy Fitzgerald, who currently holds this position, is also Speaker Tempore. Now, this is the second highest position in the Senate. Therefore, if he loses tonight, he will also have to give up this position, and the Senate will have to elect a new Speaker Tempore. If you haven't voted yet, you still have till midnight tonight. Reporting live from Whitten University Center, I'm Jessie Locke. Back to you at the desk.
Thank you, Jessie. Definitely really important to know, also really important to remember to vote.
Tonight, Donald Trump is in Florida. He landed on Ocala, where he is currently speaking on Medicare. But back in Washington, the president is not mincing words as an impeachment inquiry begins on Capitol Hill. UMTV's Tyler Walsh has more.
House Democrats eager to begin depositions as President Trump appears increasingly furious over their impeachment inquiry. Kurt Volker, former U.S. Special Envoy to Ukraine, was deposed by 3 House committees about the whistleblower complaint, which alleges President Trump repeatedly pressured Ukraine to investigate former Vice President Joe Biden and his son.
I hope that he will be truthful, and I hope that he will give those questioners and investigators the tools that they need to get to the bottom of this very pressing matter.
Intelligence Community Inspector General Michael Atkinson will appear at a closed-door briefing tomorrow, which is also the deadline House Democrats have given the White House to submit documents related to the Ukraine phone call or face subpoenas. It comes after the State Department Inspector General gave lawmakers dozens of pages of documents that make many of the same unproven claims about the Bidens that Trump allies have been making. The president continuing to show his rage, sending this profane tweet, writing, "The do-nothing Democrats should be focused on building up our country, not wasting everyone's time and energy on BS." Trump's tirade continuing offline, too.
To impeach a president over a fraud that was committed by other people that want to win an election in 2020, which they won't, is incredible.
Reporting for UMTV, I'm Tyler Walsh.
Well, speaking of politics, Senator Bernie Sanders, one of the top Democratic contenders for the presidential nomination, is recovering after undergoing a heart procedure. It happened after the 78-year-old felt discomfort during a campaign event in Las Vegas Tuesday. Doctors inserted 2 stents after they found a blockage in a main artery. The Vermont senator currently trails Joe Biden and Elizabeth Warren in the polls, but Sanders will not be off the campaign trail for long. His campaign announced today that he'll be still participating in the next Democratic debate on October 15th in Columbus, Ohio. And back here in Florida, a new law went into effect Tuesday that allows some teachers to carry guns in classrooms. The statute authorizes school districts to designate at least 1 school safety officer per public school. That officer does not necessarily need to be a member of law enforcement. They can be a school security guard or so-called guardian. A guardian is considered to be an armed teacher or staff member who's ready in case of an attack. So far, more than half of Florida's 67 counties have opted to participate in that guardian program.
Another state is moving towards banning the sale of electronic cigarettes. New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy announced on Thursday that his task force on vaping has recommended making flavored e-cigarettes illegal. This announcement comes just days after the news of yet another vaping-related death, this time from Murphy's home state of New Jersey. The use of electronic cigarettes and vapes have been tied to more than 800 illnesses, and the number of vaping-related deaths is now up to 18. Flu season is upon us early this year, but University of Miami Health Services is ready to respond. For the past couple of weeks, flu shot stations have popped up across campus to give students, faculty, and staff easy access to free vaccines.
I figured it couldn't get any easier than free and where I live, so I figured I'd just get it now.
The next flu shot station will be on the Foot Green this Tuesday from 1 to 3 p.m. Students can find the full schedule online under Student Health Services. Now with UMTV medical expert Dr. Sarah Frazier. Doctor, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
Now, first of all, what is the flu?
The flu is short for influenza. So this is a family of viruses that affect the respiratory tract or the lungs. If you get the flu, you can expect to be coughing. You may have to be in bed all day, getting fever, chills. This is not just your common cold. It's a serious illness.
And why is it so important to get the flu shot?
Well, for example, last year, 80,000 people died in the U.S. due to the flu. That's a lot of people. It's also important to protect others. So, for example, if I'm visiting my grandfather or my sister who's pregnant, people who are immunosuppressed, if I get the vaccine, I'm actually protecting them. And finally, there is some evidence that if I get the flu shot and I happen to get the flu will not affect me as severely as if I didn't get the flu shot.
Now, how does the shot itself work, and how soon can people expect it to work after getting it?
The flu shot is made from a weakened or dead component of the actual virus influenza. So when you get this in the form of a vaccine, your bodies produce antibodies. So if you are exposed to the flu later that season, it recognizes it and you can fight that infection. It does, however, take about 2 weeks to work.
Now, some people may be scared of getting flu shots because they hear that vaccines cause autism or other health problems. Care to comment on that?
Sure. vaccines do not cause autism. So this is a myth that was perpetuated by Jenny McCarthy, and the original research that was done on this has been totally debunked. When it comes to myths about the flu shot, some people think, well, if I get the flu shot, doesn't that give me the flu? No, that's not true either. You may end up getting the flu even though you had a flu shot. It's not necessarily 100% effective, but it is your best chance to prevent the flu.
Now, are there any side effects from getting the flu shot? What can you expect after you get it?
The main side effect to watch out for is getting a sore arm or redness at the site of the injection. Also, it's made using eggs, so if you do have an egg allergy, then make sure to tell your healthcare provider.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining us, Doctor.
You're welcome.
Back to you, Tommy.
Thank you guys, definitely some very important information there. Still ahead tonight on NewsVision, Homecoming is just a few weeks away. We already know the theme, and now we also know who will be performing at the big concert. We'll tell you who and take you to the big reveal up next. And later, we've seen South Florida step up to help the Bahamas after Hurricane Dorian, but here at UM, they're doing it through music.
The hurricanes calling Virginia Tech this weekend. Weather's looking pretty good. There's going to be the risk for some showers and thunderstorms during the game. Temperatures in the mid-80s. It's going to be a hot, humid one. But pretty nice weather for game day coming up. I'm going to be talking about this area to watch in the tropics. The hot summer-like weather will continue here into next week. And I'm going to take a look at the northeast temperature whiplash still ahead on NewsVision.
There. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Can I tell you another one? So how does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it. What's Beethoven's favorite fruit? Banana. What is a boxer's favorite drink? Fruit punch.
Thanks for staying with us. Homecoming is just over 1 month away for the University of Miami community.
And we know the identity of the performing artist. 21 Savage has been announced as the headliner for the Homecoming concert. Hurricane Productions and the Homecoming Committee held an event yesterday at the Rat. The initial announcement came hours before the event on the HP Concerts Instagram page. HP Productions gave away floor tickets to the first 50 students in line for the Bank Account Rappers performance. Standard tickets went on sale earlier today for students, and UMTV was at the event and got reactions from students.
Pretty exciting. I'm from Atlanta too, so it's also good to see somebody that I'm familiar with performing at the school. So
this is everything I think everyone's been waiting for. I think you can just tell this is going to be probably the best homecoming performance we ever had.
I can't wait for it, man. I just can't wait for it. It's gonna be so fun.
Students also got prizes such as fanny packs and t-shirts. The concert will be held at the Watsco Center on Thursday, November 8th at 8 p.m.
The Haitian student organization called Planet Creole has hosted an event called Pâté and Paint that was on Monday. The organization provided the painting supplies, food, and music to set up the atmosphere of Haitian culture. More than 30 students joined in the celebration. The Negmawon, which is a symbol that represents the Haitian fight against France and their victory in 1804, was painted the most. Others painted sunsets and their own symbols of freedom. Club co-president Sarah St. Just helped create the first event of Haitian Spirit Week.
So as you know, this week is our Haitian Spirit Week, Planet Creole's first Haitian Spirit Week ever, so we wanted to host something that actually symbolizes our Haitian culture. Pâté and paint is basically a way to actually sit down, paint negmao, and actually snack on the pâté that we usually do in our Haitian culture as a general.
The meeting will be tomorrow night at 9 in the Activities Room North in the Shalala Student Center.
And speaking of campus celebrations, UM students who observed the Jewish New Year, Rosh Hashanah, gathered by the Osceola Lake earlier today for a Jewish tradition called Tashlik. It is named for the Hebrew word for cast and is a ceremony performed during the 10 days of repentance between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. Tashlich takes place by a body of water, preferably one with live fish. Students met on the steps in front of the Shalala Student Center, recited a prayer, and threw pieces of bread into the water. This gesture symbolizes throwing their sins of the past year away.
In another symbolic exhibit on campus, T-shirts have been hung on clotheslines at the Foot Green to raise awareness for sexual assault and domestic violence. It was hosted by the Counseling Center's Sexual Resource Team and Counseling Outreach Peer Educators Program, better known as COPE. The goal is to introduce members of the community to various victims of violence and to educate the UM community about the topic.
I would just say if someone goes to a COPE event and they're feeling like they've been impacted by it a lot, definitely ask a COPE member. They'll walk you right over to the Counseling Center. They'll tell you about the services that the Counseling Center has to offer.
This was the 8th year the clothesline project has been displayed on campus.
It's been more than 1 month since Hurricane Dorian barreled into the Bahamas, leaving the island in ruins.
And many people are stepping up to help. That includes the Frost Stool of Music, which organized a fundraising event. UMTV reporter Jesse Locke was there.
Last Saturday, University of Miami's very own Frost School of Music held a benefit concert for hurricane relief in the Bahamas. The concert featured performances from Grammy Award-winning artists, Frost students and faculty, as well as the Frost Band of the Hour. Several guest speakers, including UM President Julio Frank, took the stage to address the devastating effects Hurricane Dorian had on the country and the responsibility Miami has in helping our tropical neighbors.
We owe it to the victims of every disaster to rebuild a better Bahamas in this case than what was there before.
The concert was free, but attendees were encouraged to donate multiple times throughout the event. All genres of music were represented at Guzman Hall, from classical to jazz to pop and even country. Many of the performers dedicated their songs to those affected by the tragedy.
This next tune that we are going to play, we're going to play it in memoriam of the 56 people who have already been confirmed dead and the people who are also still missing from the hurricane.
The 3-hour concert concluded around 10 at night, but donations continued to roll in for several days after. Reporting for UMTV, I'm Jesse Locke.
As excited as I am for a South Florida fall, I'm hesitant to say that hurricane season is behind us.
Yeah, I don't know. Definitely some important work they're doing there, though. But for a look at the tropics right now, let's send it over to Jackson Dill. Hey, Jackson.
Yeah, the tropics are beginning to wind down, guys. Now, we're still watching this one area to watch over the Bay of Campeche. Anywhere in this yellow shading, that's where there's a 20% chance for tropical cyclone development within the next 5 days. Now, back here at home, current conditions outside, 83 degrees, partly cloudy skies. It's a beautiful evening here in Coral Gables. It's quite humid, though, with a feels-like temperature of 87 degrees. Current conditions up and down the board. It's in the low to mid-80s on the East Coast, but it's still pretty toasty on the West Coast, 87 in Naples as well as Fort Myers. And taking a look at the radar, it's really quieted down. There was these few showers that moved off the southwestern coast of Florida, but South Florida is looking into a very dry evening and overnight time period. Now, the Futurecast shows that dry weather persisting into tonight, so we're not really worried about any ice shower activity, and as we get into tomorrow, there may be a slight risk for a shower, but pretty dry. Just have your umbrella in case a passing shower develops or pops up overhead. Now across the Northeast, it was very hot. 91 in Central Park yesterday, 97 in Washington, D.C., so record highs were shattered across the region. Now taking a look at your current conditions, it's much cooler as that cold front moved through. 56 now in New York City, even 53 in Boston, so yeah, fall is definitely settling in across the Northeast. Thankfully, here in South Florida, it's still beach weather, 87. It's going to be the high temperature tomorrow if you go over to the South Beach and relax, enjoy the nice rays. Too bad you can't go in the water, though. There is a high rip current risk due to the strong onshore wind, so you're not going to want to go into the water. Tonight, it's going to be a nice evening, likely dry, partly cloudy skies. We'll get down to 78 degrees, and as we get into tomorrow, we're going to see pretty nice weather. So I'm going to send it back to you guys. My graphics aren't working right now, but
Thank you, Jackson. I'm really glad I'm not in the Northeast. I'm stuck on that tanning forecast right now. It looks pretty nice. Hopefully I'll get to do some of that this weekend.
For sure. I'm just hoping that Saturday stays dry because that's game day.
Very true.
And speaking of football, up next, Frank Gore is a Miami legend through and through. But his son faces a new world as he hits the football field in South Florida. More on this story coming up after the break. Don't go away.
I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it. My support team never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew who I could become as a person. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Thanks for staying with NewsVision. I'm sports reporter Maxwell Trink. The Sports Hall of Fame has announced that 8 former Canes will be inducted as part of the class of 2020. Highlighting the group is MLB All-Star Yasmani Grandal and former quarterback Philip Buchanan. Jay Brophy and Kevin Williams round out the football players who are a part of the 2020 class, and current Women's Tennis Associate head coach Laura Valverdue will also be enshrined. Men's basketball, women's soccer, and track and field are the final 3 sports that will be represented. With these 8 new additions, there are now 334 members in Sports Hall of Fame. 2 weeks ago, Hurricanes football struggled against Central Michigan. Now they're looking to bounce back against the Virginia Tech Hokies. This is the second ACC game of the 2019 season. The Hurricanes lost to UNC Tar Heels back in September. VT is coming off a 45-10 loss against the Duke Blue Devils in Blacksburg. Miami will have to rely on ACC Rookie of the Week Jaron Williams. The redshirt freshman quarterback still has a completion percentage over 70%. The Hurricanes' defense will also be key. So far this season, Miami's D has brought out the turnover chain 8 times. The game is scheduled to kick off at 3:30 at Hard Rock Stadium, continuing the Canes' 5-game homestand. With a win, Miami will have a over 500 record for the first time in 2019. This past week, 2 Canes women's swimming and diving members swam their way to some ACC accolades. Freshman Mia Valet was named ACC Women's Diver of the Week, and sophomore Zori Mason was named ACC Women's Swimmer of the Week. Mason picked up 2 wins against FIU, while Valet secured her first 2 collegiate wins versus the Panthers. So far this season, the Hurricanes are 0-2 after losses to Florida and Florida International. Miami swimming and diving will compete in the SMU Classic in Dallas starting October 11th. For Miami Hurricanes running back Frank Gore is still tearing up the NFL at the ripe age of 36, and now his son Frank Gore Jr., who is a senior at Killian High School in Miami, is ready to follow in his father's footsteps. UMTV reporter David Perez has the story.
When Frank Gore Jr. touches the fields, he's trying to leave defenders in the dust.
The swagger I got on the field, I don't talk about it outside the field, but once I'm on, it's just, my mindset, you can't stop me.
He's explosive, man. He could go 0 to 100 just a split second. He could catch a 2-yard route and take it to the house. He changed the game.
And his explosion runs in the family. He's the son of former Miami Hurricane Frank Gore, and he's running for greatness in the same county that his dad did. But while some would find pressure in the name, Frank Jr. finds his own legacy.
It's funny, like everybody asks me because of my name, but my mom taught me early, like, you don't have to worry about that. I know what I'm capable of. I know who I am, so I don't worry about it.
So he's not worried about the name, but on the practice field, he sets the tone.
One thing about him, he's a born leader. I mean, he doesn't, as he might say, he don't want to lead, but it's natural giving, and that's what's in him.
First time we had practice was in summer practice when we was running and stuff. And everybody was tired. He picked everybody up. Come on, let's keep running.
My dad, I've been watching him since young, so he taught me hard work, really put in the time, put in every little second will count.
And in between the lines, Gore is making every snap count, playing every position on offense except the line.
He do everything, actually, basically. He do everything. He can throw the ball, run.
You can't label me as one thing because I can do everything on the field. I look at myself as the best all-around player in high school. Nobody can really mess with me.
And with a commitment to Florida Atlantic University, Gore's future is set. But this season, he's leaving his own legacy at Killian High School.
I think he's going to be a special guy before he leaves here at Mount Killian. He's going to probably be one of the top backs that ever come through Mount Killian.
High praise at a school with multiple NFL alumni. But if there's one thing Frank is built for, it's dealing with expectations at a young age.
The pressure is too much. It's not to be my dad, but for me, it's to show the rest of my family members you don't have to go his way. You can just go your own way. Just be yourself.
Steve, you a block.
It's going to be great to see Frank Gore going out for the FAU Owls, but it's going to be weird seeing him in that red and blue, not in that orange and green for the Hurricanes.
I have to agree. I don't know that much about his son, but I do know that Frank Gore Sr. is a guaranteed Hall of Famer. Yeah.
I'll leave the sports talk to you guys. Thanks, Max. Stay with us. NewsVision will be right back.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes? B, console her?
Don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
Or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice, single boys. That was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
You're doing great. We're gonna try this again, okay?
Okay.
Wheels, pedals, handlebar, brakes. Sit up straight, keep your weight in the center, keep your eyes on the road, hands on the grips, button the seat. If we feel ourselves falling, what do?
Just keep pedaling.
Good girl. Now remember, it's all about balance and steering. Steer with your hands, steer with your body. Steer into the corners and you stay out of trouble. And the bell's your buddy, so go ahead and ding that. All right, you ready? Here we go. Pedal, honey, pedal. There you go, you're a bike rider.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
En lesmove.gov aprenderás pasos simples para prevenir la obesidad infantil y ayudarlos a alcanzar un índice de masa corporal saludable. Visita letsmove.gov hoy mismo.
Miami Zoo offered a spin on traditional yoga. Yogi lovers got a chance to do downward dogs with elephants. This class, taught by Body for Yoga, featured Asian elephants. Yoga with Elephants was an event hosted by the Miami Zoo to spread awareness about the endangered species. The one-hour class was led by a master yogi, while zoo lovers experienced a one-of-a-kind treat.
I think that's pretty cool. It's like that goat yoga thing, but a little bit more extreme.
Way more dangerous, but I feel like the elephant's presence would be super relaxing.
I don't know though. I feel like whatever animal's there, I will still not be doing any yoga anytime soon.
Sign me up.
Really, because I think that would be a great way to celebrate your birthday, which is tonight. Happy 22nd birthday, Tommy.
Thank you.
And I know you're feeling 22.
I was going to say there's no place I would rather spend it doing one of my favorite things with some of my favorite people. So thanks to all of you guys for making tonight so special.
Thank you so much.
Anyway, time to go celebrate. That's all the time we have for tonight. Thanks for joining us.
We'll be back next week with another new episode of NewsVision. Until then, have a good night.